There we go. We're off.
Well, welcome back to the Sunday Bunch. Yes, the happy Sunday Bunch on a Sunday night, 6:30, a little bit earlier because England are playing Belgium later on today. Now, I won't do long introductions tonight because we have loads to talk about. So, in the team tonight, we have Conrad Lee, Sean Middleton, Jacob Kirkbride, the Dino, and Mr. Michael Bowers himself, who's reached 2K subscribers on his YouTube channel. So, well done, Michael.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Right, so everybody will probably need one of these today after yesterday's performance. Everybody expected Sunderland to beat MK Dons, myself as well. Now, when the team news came out before the match started, obviously before the match started, I was bizarre why Sanderson wasn't starting. I thought Sanderson would be starting as a natural centre-back and maybe he's put Luke O'Nien somewhere else. And I was surprised Willis was even starting because I thought he looked really tired and looked injured on Tuesday night. So he made a surprise recovery, or has he been taking injections? Another one, Matthews started. I thought, oh, Burge is being dropped. Why is Burge being dropped to the substitutes bench? But then somebody said he's injured. I'm thinking, why is he on the bench if he's injured? What's wrong with Patterson? Why doesn't Phil Patterson actually promote some youngsters to the bench, give them some sort of bench time, some confidence with the first team? Will Phil Patterson ever do this, or does he want to growth? Does he want to stump the growth of these youngsters coming through? Now, we lost 2-1 yesterday, and I'm not going to go too much into it, but it was one of the worst performances I've seen as a Sunderland fan. It's been one of the worst weeks as a Sunderland fan, losing in the FA Cup first round. Yes, we got beat during the week. It wasn't too bad against Fleetwood, but yesterday, MK Dons. Well done, MK Dons. Absolutely fantastic result for them. The manager did his homework, and they were really fast through the centre of midfield where we looked like we're on crutches. We look really slow. We've only got one plan. That's plan A down the wings. Nothing in the centre of midfield. We need somebody with a bit of pace for me. But I'm going to pass it over now to Conrad Lee. What was your opinion on yesterday's match?
It's the latest in a long line of mess-ups from all parts of our team, really, on there. I know there's going to be a lot of Parky out. There's going to be a lot of people saying, oh, it's the players. I was thinking earlier on, it's every aspect of our club. Really, apart from the fans, the board level, we don't like any of them. We want them out there, not right for us. Some of us saying that Parky, not the right one to be in the job, not getting the best out of his players, not doing a good system to get us playing properly and what have you. And I'm leaning towards that side as well myself, thinking like, hang on, it's just not working now, mate. You're not doing it. But then the players need to have a look at themselves as well, because surely they can play this system with some of the players that we have. And I'm not going to say they're all absolute quality, because as we've seen over the last few weeks, they're not. But I don't know. It seems to be every part of our team now. We can't just pin it all on the manager, but it seems to be every part of the club from the top right down to the players. Something's wrong with all of them.
So, Conrad, how did you actually feel at the end of the match during your live stream yesterday?
All right, my cat's just having a mooch around my desk. Absolutely gutted. I thought we might get back into it. How are you? Off the desk. Pick a side.
How are you, Samson?
Yeah. Come on, off you go. Down. Nope. There we go.
You down yourself?
Drink wouldn't help with that. Like on there. I'm just disappointed again. It just feels like it's just there's never a happy moment. Do you know what I mean? There's never like a sort of, oh, here we go. We finally turned a corner. It just seems to be getting worse every time. And it was for us three, for Sean and Michael, it just felt just deflating and just disappointing at the end of the game, just to be sitting there again going, look, we've lost which one of the other two lost? Was it Peterborough? Did they lose, Sean or Michael? Was it?
Peterborough lost to Cream.
They'd lost, so then it just felt like another missed opportunity again, and just more disappointment. I'm trying not to be too negative, but that's exactly how I felt at the end of the game, just negative.
So are you Parky out, Conrad, or are you on the fence?
I'm still on the fence, but I'm looking at the Parky outside thinking, my God, that looks nice over there.
Now, on the live chat tonight, we've got Jack Dodds, who was on the show the other day. Call me crazy, but I'm still Parky in. But it's getting harder each week to defend him. I don't know how much longer I can go on defending him. Now, I think a lot of fans feel that way. They don't really want to get the manager sacked, but at the same time, they can't defend the bloke. I know one man who has been defending him throughout for all the season so far, Sean Middleton. What was your thoughts on yesterday and Phil Parkinson, Sean?
The smile.
Well,
Go on, lad.
to be fair, I know
Back him up. I believe in you.
A lot of shite on Twitter, as we expected yesterday. I mean, there was a complete meltdown. I know people say we've lost 3 in a row. MK Dons haven't won away in 14 months. That doesn't look good either. But for me, Parkinson picked a side. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say, well, I didn't see this, I didn't see that. That squad, that team should have beaten MK Dons. And now he's mentioned about the keeper, but apparently Lee Burge had a slight knock. So that was the reason why he didn't start. So that's why he was on the bench. Maybe he could have brought Pattinson in, I'm not sure. For me, he picked a team. Pattinson picked a team who he thought would win the game, and I thought would win the game comfortably as well. We took the lead. You know, we actually started the game really well. It was like high press tempo. We started really well. But typical Sunderland, as we always do, we conceded, and then the players just totally froze. They totally just froze, and it's like, you know, as they've done the last few games, when they concede, they just look at each other and say, "What do we do now? What do you mean? What are you doing now? You're professional footballers." Do you know what I mean? It's not the end of the world. Just forget about it and move on. But you know, I mean, a lot was made of 09 playing centre back. For me, their 2 goals come from a set piece. It should, you know, individual errors. That's not Phil Parkinson's fault. Their goal was scored by a set piece. Bailey Wright was on the wrong side of his Cameron Jerome. He got in the middle of 2 players. That should never be allowed. The keeper, I don't think the keeper could have saved. I think it was right in the corner. And then the prodigal son, Max Power, the main man in the house, as I've been saying for the last 2 years. What does he offer you? Tell you what he offers you. He offers you stupidity, because that's all it was. What the penalty come from? I mean, when you're gonna kick a ball and you slice it once, then you look around, see if there's anybody around. He didn't. So then he's obviously went to kick it again, and he's wiped their defender. It was a definite penalty. It was stupidity. But to be fair, I mean, I'm picking on Power here. I mean, who really played well. I mean, Skelm was awful. Ledbetter was quiet. That's not Parkinson's fault. There's too many players for me just not performing and not putting a shift in. And people say, well, Parkinson's not getting the best out of the players. Well, maybe, but I mean, you know, we took the lead, we're winning 1-0, and you concede a goal, and it's just like everything changes. But to be fair, I mean, I'll get to Will Grigg next. Will Grigg was like, well, he started the game really well, but another thing about Parkinson, like that chance that Will Grigg had when he misses from 5 yards, that's not Parkinson's fault either. You know what I mean? That's a striker's problem. How he missed from there, I'll never know. I mean, my 4-year-old son could have scored from there. That was just absolutely pathetic. How did he miss it? I mean, it was harder to miss them. You know what I mean? How did he miss that chance? We had a lot of chance in the game. People say, look at that. MK Dons, I'll congratulate them. They got the second goal and they're just defending for their lives. And they're fully, you know, you'd say they deserved it. But there were still chances in that game where we could have pulled it round. The keeper pulled a couple of world-class saves off. Will Grigg missed the sitter. A lot of pressure now on Parkinson. I mean, it's understandable in a sense because he's lost 3 in a row. I mean, but the way I see it is, will Parkinson get sacked? No. Why not get sacked? Because Stuart Donald is a tosspot and he won't sack him because he's got no money. And there's rumours about this takeover thing. I'm telling you something now. Phil Parkinson will not get sacked because Stuart Donald can't afford. If the takeover happens, then maybe he will. But who else are we going to get? Who's going to want to come here anyway? That's all I've got to say.
Sean, I know you say it's not Phil Parkinson's fault, but there's one thing that is Phil Parkinson's fault, and it's only a little thing, but it really does annoy the life out of me. Every time we kick off a game, whether it's the first half or second half, we pass back to the defender, then they hoof it forward, and we give possession away every single time. What's with that kind of plan? Why can't we give it to the midfielders and come through the middle, or give it to somebody else and work the ball forward? Why do we hoof the ball straight forward from the kickoff? And that's what gives the ball away. That DONS just ran at us and we were just absolutely shit scared. We didn't know what to do because we were so slow. And then they got the winning goal.
Well, and I know what you're saying about that. I mean, you know, that Conrad picked out a lot, and he was right actually, because we were passing the ball and going backwards a lot. I'm just looking at our squad, like, and I just say like a lack of confidence. I mean, I know I've stuck up for Parkinson, but there's only so much you can sort of stick up for him. I mean, as he lost the dressing room, I mean, we were trying and plugging away, but you look at it and you think, you know, after you digest everything, you think, has he lost to some of the players? They're just saying disorientated and disorganised. I'm finding it hard now, man. I must admit, to stick up for Parkinson, but I mean, the players have got to take responsibility as well, Terry. I mean, them players yesterday were utter embarrassment at times. I mean, Will Grigg, I'll go back to Will Grigg. You can't miss chances like that from 5 yards out. 4 million. He's done that a couple of times now, though, as well. Phil Parkinson kind of stuck individual errors. I mean, like you see, their set piece, the goal that should have been prevented, in the penalty by Max Fowler conceded. That was an individual error as well. Do you know what I mean? But it's just one of them.
Are you on the fence then, Sean? Still, are you on the fence or Parky in?
I'm finding it hard now to stick up for him, to be fair, but I don't think he's being backed by the owner as well. That's the one thing I will see. I mean, the owner, as me and Michael and Connor said yesterday, there was 4 free transfers out there in the summer, and they kind of give this bollocks by saying the salary cap, because the salary cap, all the football teams in that league knew it was coming, so they've had time to prepare. They could have had Nanji, Scott Fraser, Madison. There was one we said, Michael.
Luke Garbett.
Luke Garbett. That's
Dimitri Mitchell as well. That's another one.
Yeah, there's 5 players who would have improved our squad. That's not Parkinson's fault. That's the owner. Now the owner, and Parkinson get a lot of stick, and he's getting a lot of stick on social media and everything, but he hasn't been backed by the owner. That's why I still sort of feel for him a little bit. But is he getting the best out of them players at the minute? I'm not quite sure.
Right, so on the chat tonight, asking where Wee Philly is. Wee Philly, being the grafter, is actually working on a Sunday as well. He's working 7 days a week. He must be absolutely loaded anyway. So that's what Wee Philly is. He's too busy to come on here and talk to his mates. He's out there grafting away, delivering parcels, keeping the world in motion. Now, Umar Mackham FC, teams are just walking our midfield. So, Jacob, what was your thoughts on yesterday's match? Were we just walking through our midfield? Where is our midfield?
Our midfield at the moment, completely non-existent. My problem is, particularly with all our central midfield players, the likes of Grant Ledbetter, Max Power, Josh Scowen, they all play so similar to each other. There's no like spark in the final third when they come forward with the ball. They all just sit too deep. But onto the game itself, I still stand by, this is definitely one of the worst weeks in the club's history. Getting beat off Mansfield Town, 1-0 in the FA Cup, third from bottom of the Football League, getting beat 2-1 off Fleetwood Town on Tuesday night in the Papa John's Pizza Trophy, and getting beat 2-1 at home off an MK Dons team who, correct me if I'm wrong, they hadn't won a game away from home in basically a year, just over a year?
14 months.
14 months. So, and another thing, this is a tweet from one of MK Don's goal scorers yesterday, Cameron Jerome, who he actually did.
Oh, yes.
So it shows that, Cameron, you're not as hard as nails as people think. Don't often tweet, but let me throw something out there. Maybe a nibble, maybe tongue-in-cheek, hashtag Sunderland v hashtag MK Dons. Poor side with average players for the league. It's time to accept you're now a bang average League One team now. Glory days have gone. Hashtag let it go. Hashtag Sunderland. Now, when you see things like when you're allowing a striker like Cameron Jerome, who's coming towards the end of his football career, rinse your club like that, you know that everything is just negative from top to bottom right now. And credit to MK Dons, like, credits where it's due. Yesterday, they started the game really well. Every set piece they had, it looked like they were going to score. The danger was coming from that. And we didn't rectify that as the first half went along. You just knew that they were going to get one eventually and the rewards would pay. And a flick-on header goes into the far corner. But as the game went on, it just got worse and worse. The quality just dried up so quickly. And the decisions from Phil Parkinson, once again, making his subs too late. But let's go to his team selection, shall we? So let's start with, I know Remy Matthews, it's hard to criticise him yesterday, but the main reason Lee Burge apparently didn't play is because he was injured. So if he's injured, please explain to me, why was he on the bench? That's one I don't get. playing Luke 09 in a back three simply does not work at all. There's times where he wants to come forward with the ball too much and get dragged out of position, which we signed Luke 09 when he came in from Wycombe Wanderers. We signed him as a midfielder. How many games now have we actually played Luke 09 in the position he wants to play in most? Honestly, someone in the comments answer that question. And Will Grigg, I'm sorry, like the guy for me, I don't think he'll kick a ball for Sunderland again. I mean, I was surprised in general that he was in the starting lineup yesterday, to be honest. I know we've been crying out for Chris Maguire to be dropped because he hasn't been playing very well recently. But there was one moment towards the end of the first half where Will Grigg, he was out-muscled by one of their fullbacks, didn't even show desire to win the ball back, and charging into camera shot was Charlie Wyke, who when you see him and Will Grigg play, you'd think Charlie Wyke is the slower player. Charging like a train to get to the byline and win the ball back. That's what we want in a striker. If you're not going to get the service throughout an entire game of football, at least show a little bit of heart and desire to win the ball back. But when Will Grigg did get the chance, he put it wide of the post, that brilliant ball across, and he's got to be scoring that. I'm sorry, that's absolutely pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And right now, I just, with Phil Parkinson, to be honest, another one's Lyndon Gooch. He had a poor game as well yesterday, I thought, just kept running into people, giving stupid free kicks away. Phil Parkinson, I would give him one more game, but he has to make a statement. Something has to change, like he did at Doncaster last season. Change the formation, do something. Send voice messages to Aidan McGeady's phone. Bring him back. We need something.
Are you Parky out, Jacob? Parky out?
Like I said, one more game. That Doncaster game next week, it's make or break.
Right. So everybody, thanks for the comments on the live chat. I can't read them all out because my phone goes too fast. And at the end of the day, I'm pleased there's 132 people watching the live stream. Please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. Be much appreciated. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Now, I'm going to keep on going to people who want Parky out, want Parky in. So next, I'm going to the bloke who wasn't very well on Thursday night, so I'm hoping he's feeling better tonight. I know in the past he's kind of defended Parkinson, but surely, Dino, you cannot defend Parkinson now after that result yesterday.
Well, I'm not going to defend him, but I'm not going to praise him either. I mean, he got the team selection wrong, completely wrong for me. I mean, no one's mentioned Jack Diamond. Why isn't he playing right wing back? He's more of a right wing back than Gooch. I mean, Gooch hasn't been performing. I think Gooch has deserved to be dropped. He brought him on with 5 minutes ago. What's the point? I know Willis got injured, but I mean, bring him off earlier. Why do you have to wait until 85 minutes? I mean, we're chasing the game anyway. I mean, like you say, Lee Burge, if he's injured and he's on the bench, that means he can play. If he's on the bench, he can play. If you're injured, you shouldn't be on the bench. It's as simple as that. I thought Remy Matthews didn't play too bad. He didn't really make many mistakes. He made a good save from Fraser in the second half, I think, when the counter-attack were. I mean, for me, everyone's like slating the team. There's only one player who always stands out for me, and that's Luke 09. Wherever he plays, he wants to go forward. Like, no one's actually said he's had a good game. For me, he was the best player on the pitch by far. He was making tackles. He wanted to go forward, but obviously he's very limited for how far he can go forward. He's passing. I've never seen Luke 09 give the ball away ever. He's always composed on the ball. He always passes it forward. He's always positive, and we've got negative players like Power, Scowen, who want to pass back and stuff like that. I mean, how is Will Grigg missed from 5 yards? I can't defend Will Grigg anymore. You just can't. Like, how do you miss that? I mean, I've always said we've got the worst strikers in the league. That kind of proves it. I mean, Danny Graham missed one from under the bar in the last game, or the game before, and Will Griggs missed from 3 yards out. I mean, come on, our best striker at the minute is Charlie Wyke. And let's be fair, Charlie Wyke's been bang average for a lot of the time we've had him, but now he's actually turned up for once. And I didn't think Charlie Wyke had a great game yesterday, but that's not down to him. He was still trying, which you can only praise. But I'm not going to shout Parky out, because what's the point? What's the point? I haven't got the energy to keep saying Parky out, because nothing's going to change. I think if you change the manager, you're not going to change how the players are, because that's the players we've got. I feel like that is the best we can get out of these bunch of players, because half of them play the same. Most of them are negative. I mean, I don't want to see the three in midfield of Power, Ledbetter and Scowen. I want to see Luke O'Nien in there. I want to see some energy, someone who's going to bomb forward.
Dino. If
Well,
Parky stays, Luke O'Nien will never play midfield. We'll always pass back. We'll always be slow in midfield. That's always going to happen with Parkinson.
I don't believe him. Even if we got another manager in, I don't believe that he'd even play Luke O'Nien in midfield, because Luke O'Nien has been played right back for most of the time he's been here. So he's recognised now as a right back. He's not recognised as a centre midfielder. I mean, these players are just not up to the task. Like when people are predicting them for top two, I'm thinking, why do you think we'll get top two? We're an average team, and we really are. And I know people are saying MK Dons haven't won 1 in 14 months, but remember the time when we hadn't won for a year at home, and we were going to beat someone at some point. Do you know what I mean? So it was MK Dons' time. I mean, MK Dons actually looked at a half decent team. I mean, the goals were conceded, let's be fair, right? Ledbetter's in front of him, Bailey Wright's behind him. Cameron Jerome outjumps both of them. I believe if you had 3 players around Cameron Jerome, he would still win that header because he's athletic. He can actually jump high, where some player like what?
Surely you would have Wright in front of Jerome, or you'd have, if Sanderson was on the pitch. Sanderson is the same height as Jerome. He would have jumped higher. Why are we not having a tall centre back known as a tall striker on the pitch?
But Dion Sanderson wasn't playing, so you got to deal with. So for me, Ledbetter's in front. Bailey Wright's behind. And it's like, say, if Ronaldo was on the pitch, who's going to outjump Ronaldo? Doesn't matter how big you are, he's going to outjump you. And I've seen Cameron Jerome outpace Jordan Willis. I mean, I know he's an old player, but I've seen that bloke outpace. That's what we lack so much, pace. We've got no pace. I mean, the paciest player we've got is probably Diamond, and he's stuck on the bench who can't even get in the team. So, I mean,
the problem is there, though. Willis is really fast, but he's injured.
Exactly.
So is he taking injections?
He is taking
injections.
injections.
Is that what I've heard on?
Parkinson
Actually brings Sanderson, the young centre back, from like a Premier League side, and you put him on the bench and you play someone who's crippled. I don't get it.
Well, I'm sure Parkinson in his interview last night already said he's had injections. He hasn't really been training, but clearly he's got no faith in Sanderson. He's got no faith in his centre backs. I mean, you've got a centre back there in Sanderson, but you'd rather play Luke O'Nien there. What does that do for Sanderson's confidence?
That's just bad management. Just totally bad management has to be.
The only thing, if you get rid of Parkinson, you get somebody else in, maybe you'll get the team right. Maybe you'll play Diamond at right wing back. Maybe you'll play Luke O'Nien centre midfield. But for me, you've still got the same problems. You've still got the likes of Power being negative. Scowen, like for me, we've all wanted Scowen in the team, and what's he done? Really, he's done nothing. He hasn't impressed. I mean, Power yesterday. I mean, he was all right in parts. But the penalty, I mean, I'm not being funny. If you take a fresh hit, you slice the ball, do not hack at it again, because you've given the chance for a player to come in and nick it, and he nicked it, and he just wanted to whack the ball as hard as he could, and he hit the player. Fine, it might have been a little touch. It wasn't like a big, massive touch on him, but it's enough to give a penalty. And after that, I mean, obviously Hume had a really good shot. For me, Hume as well, he gets into the position to shoot and he crosses it when there's no one there, or there's a player in front of Wyke. Hit the fucking ball, man. I mean, that's the thing about our players. We do not shoot outside the box. We've got to try and walk the ball in. Why doesn't someone take a fucking shot, for God's sake? We fell to pieces. Well done, MK Dons. We're not going to take nothing away from them because they are a good team. They've got a player like Fraser who we wanted. Do you know what I mean? They've got Cameron Jerome, who's an experienced striker with a bit of pace, who we got fucking Danny Graham. I mean, Danny Graham he's slow. He's unfit. You can tell he's piling weight. He's got weight on him. He's a fucking shit striker, man. I mean, Will Grigg, shite. Charlie Wyke's playing good, but he's not a great striker, but he's playing the best out of a bad bunch. I mean, that's what's going to cost me.
So you're still Parkinson in. Now on the live chat.
You know what? I'm not Parky in and I'm not Parky out. I can't be bothered with the Parky in and out debate.
Okay. Robert Foster says Willis should have a few weeks out. Fair enough. Glyn Jones, Parkinson has to go. Sunboy cold. Same old Parkinson. Taffy Mackham, new manager, new broom. There's a lot of people that want Glyn Jones wants the manager out. There's loads of people want the manager out. But I mean, we keep on saying we're passing the ball back. That's got to be Parkinson's plan. is going to be drilling this into the midfielders. The midfielders don't take it upon themselves every single game to pass the ball back. The manager, if he didn't like that, would tell them to stop doing it. So the manager must be saying, keep possession, pass the ball back, or if we can't think of it, we'll hoof the ball forward.
But
So
Terry,
Michael, your take on the game, you've come off the fence, and now I've seen the video online and it says Parkinson out. So do you believe the players take it upon themselves to pass backwards, or is this coming from the manager? Michael?
Oh, I still thought you were talking to Dino there.
All right.
No, right. No, I don't. I don't know. That's the thing. Oh God, I feel just dejected about the game now. As anyone knows, watching the stream, I was pretty pissed off. Myself, Sean, Conrad, emotions were running high, but rightly so. We're losing to a team that's not won in away for more than 14 months. So we're not going to be happy clappers about it. It's a lot of different things. I want to start. I put a video on my own channel saying why I'm personally Parkinson out. So go and watch that if you want more detail from it. But where do we start? Okay, I fully agree with Sean in that the team that was put out yesterday, no excuses. I expect it to be MK Dons. You can say that's delusional, but quite frankly, I don't think that is. Given where MK Dons were in the league, given that they hadn't won away from home 14 months, and given that squad is full of players that either have come from the Championship or have done well in this league before, regardless of how they've been doing here, that side should have had enough to be MK Dons. I'm not having anyone telling me it shouldn't have. Having said that, once those players stepped out onto the pitch, they took the lead. We went in front. We didn't manage the game properly. And as much as Cameron Jerome's header was class, Bailey Wright showed him far too much of the goal to aim for, in my opinion. Maybe I'm being hypercritical, I don't know. But even if you don't criticise that, why on earth was the free kick? Why on earth were we conceding free kicks left, right and centre in the build-up in the first place? That's poor game management. And the penalty, as much as I've stuck up for Power, and I still don't believe he's a terrible player, I still think that is horrendous. You can't go around trying to slice at the ball, and you're just inviting the player to go down and inviting the referee to make a decision. So that is poor game management. Whether people agree with it or not, we threw the game away. You're in front, you lose from a winning position. That's not you managing the game properly. MK Dons were functional. I thought they were okay. I thought at times they showed some pretty decent passages of play, but in the second half, once they went in front, they did what any team would do. They sat back, put everyone behind the ball. Now, where I will criticise Parkinson here, everyone goes on about this, right? Oh, well, once people stop our style of play out with the wing backs, we'll get figured out. Right. What's the solution? We keep saying that's the problem. What's the solution? What's the solution? Come on, someone tell us. What is actually the solution to that problem? Everyone goes on about how that's the problem. And by the way, I'm not blaming people for that, but it's all for Parkinson. What's the solution? You're the manager. What's the tactic behind that? For the midfielders, we've seen that Power, when he goes forward, can have a shot on him, and he actually isn't, and I think he's all right going forward. So I do not believe for 1 second that Power is taking it upon himself to sit back. Scowen has actually got in some pretty good positions. The only thing I've criticised of him is his lack of finishing. But when you look at what's been said before with the team selections, I don't understand why Sanderson wasn't starting. I don't understand why 09 was playing as a centre. And I know it's easy for me to say this in hindsight, but I do not get why on earth was 09 playing at centre half when what in my opinion you could have done is if you had to play Jordan Willis, play Willis right and Sanderson, have Willis not do much running, put 09 at right wing back, and even if you dropped Greek, for example, and put like Gooch, Wyke, and I don't know, Scout. Anyway, you get the idea. Go with a 3-4-3 in that game. Don't confuse players with the system and formations. I don't think the players did themselves any favours whatsoever when they lost from a winning position. But there's so many different things that were also wrong with that. The last two games, before this one, obviously, Mansfield and Fleetwood in the FA Cup and the Tin Pot Trophy, those two games were chances to try and experiment with different formations. If we knew there was a chance that Willis was not going to be fit for the MK Dons game yesterday, why on earth did we not go in the two cup games? Right, we're going to practice 4 at the back. We're going to, even if you don't play Bailey Wright, say if you played Willis and Sanderson, whatever, play them at 4 at the back. Give it a try. And then if it doesn't come off, you've not lost anything. Ultimately, the Mansfield performance was unacceptable. But ultimately, for me, I wasn't losing sleep over going out the FA Cup. I'm just getting frustrated all over again with the Parkinson thing. Like I said,
He's really stubborn, though. He's so stubborn, it's unbelievable. Like he said, he won't change systems, he won't try something different. He's stubborn to one plan, and that's all he's got. He's got nothing else. Nothing else at all.
Exactly. That's the thing is, he got Bolton promoted out this league 3 seasons ago, so he's got no excuse to be stubborn. You can't tell me during that entire season, and I don't know if there's any Bolton fans anywhere and somehow watching this. If there was any Bolton fans, tell us, did Parkinson have to Did Parkinson have one system, one way of thinking, one style of play? Did that work throughout the whole season? Well, obviously, if he had only one style of play, it worked then, obviously, because they got promoted. Where I will back up with Sean, even though I have Sam Parkinson out, I desperately want him to turn it round. I really want him to turn it round and prove me wrong. I want to be wrong. But I'm with Sean here, where I will stick up for Parkinson, like we said, Armand Nangeli, Luke Garbutt, Scott Fraser, Dimitri Mitchell, Marcus Madison, didn't get him, didn't bother. Free. That is not. Now, if Parkinson, I cannot believe that Parkinson didn't want any of those players. We were interested in Scott Fraser and Luke Garbutt. We took Dimitri Mitchell on a fucking trial, for goodness sake. We knew the salary cap was coming. Why did the board not back Parkinson to get those players fucking weeks before that salary cap came into play? And you can't tell me it's down to money. Scott Fraser went to MK Dons. Mitchell and Garbutt went to Blackpool. Don't have anyone try to with that.
You forgot Marcus Madison in there as well, by the way.
Did I? All right, then. Marcus Madison. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's clear. Well, Parkinson deserves criticism for this, actually. If Parkinson, I don't know if anyone knows this true, but there was rumours apparently that Madison was wanting to come to Sunderland. A player of that quality, of that calibre, wanted to come to Sunderland, and we didn't bother to get him. When I said we could do with some creativity, it seems oblivious to everybody except who works at the club what we need. Oh, we need pace. Nah, not interested. Oh, we need creativity. Nah, not interested. It's absolutely ludicrous. I'm sick of it.
Michael, while we're on the roll, what's your thoughts on Jack Diamond coming on with 4 minutes to go?
Ridiculous. I don't.
What's the point?
I don't get. Right. Okay, I'm going to go on to another point here actually, because I want to. Well, first of all, I'm just going to quickly continue something I said about Madison before I forget it. Anyone goes on in the comments, Madison's a bad apple. I'm pretty sure Charlton have won their last 5 or 5 of their last 6. If he's such a bad apple, they wouldn't be doing that. So, secondly, with the youngsters, and again, this is where Parkinson does deserve stick. One of the reasons McGeady was frozen out. Oh, I want to get the youngsters through. Where the fuck are they? Where the fuck are they? You're not giving anyone a chance to try and remotely shine in this team whatsoever. I understand not starting them. I can get to an extent not starting them, but at least give them the time on the bench. At least give them, even worst case scenario, it's unpredictable. A lot of these teams don't know what Embleton, Neil, to a lesser extent, or Diamond is like. They don't know what they're like from the off. So, I do agree with Sean that I do believe the squad massively underperformed yesterday, and I do believe that Parkinson was not adequately backed. But unfortunately, like Dino said, Parkinson isn't going to go anywhere, at least not while this ownership's in place. So I'm just hoping he turns it round and proves us wrong. Really.
Well, touch wood, we're having a change of ownership in 2 weeks' time. Now, I want to have Sean's opinion on this because he was close to William's story with this, that, and the other, and he had a few different rumours here and rumours there. So, Sean, I know we're still just the shuffling of the pack, and I've got it here. It's Sartori and this Zach DeFreitas, 22-year-old kid could be owning Sunderland. 80% with the shares. Donald Duck, 15%, and silver spoon in his mouth. Charlie Methven, who I never want to see at the club ever again, 5% in his 5% shares. So I know it's better than nothing, Sean, but do we have anything positive to come out of this?
Well, I didn't mean to be a doom and gloom about it, like, but I wouldn't believe everything what's been reported. Another reliable journalists, James Hunter and also Keith Downey from Sky Sports have reported it. I've heard another story which I cannot say too much about.
But story,
like you've just said there, that Kirill Louis Dreyfus is going to have like 60%. Sartori get 20 Methven. But say for me, a takeover is Donald and Methven gone. Now, if Donald retains 15% and Methven retains 5%, it's not a new beginning. It's not a new start. People say, well, for it to be a takeover, it's just got to be 51%. So 60% is that Kirill Louis Dreyfus, who's a family very, very wealthy. I mean, people say it's a step in the right direction, but it's still the snake and the slimy, dirty bastard still there in Stuart Donald, and so is Meffin as well. The ones who, for me, is the biggest problem of all. That's why we're in this division for 3 seasons. People keep on going about Parkinson, and Parkinson also, like, you know, we've been this division 3 seasons because of their mismanagements and their decisions they've made. Do you know what I mean? You know, they made some bad decisions. For me, it's I believe when I see it. And people say, well, it's Sean, it's a step in the right direction. Donald will be in, you know, he's only going to get 15%, and that Meffin's only going to get 5%. But to me, a takeover is complete where them are gone, them are out the picture. But I was thinking, well, Donald's going to try and retain something somewhere because he's a fucking slimy bastard, you know what I mean? But for me, people say it's positive news. I think next week you might hear something different. That's all I can say about it. But you know, let's hope like William Story can come forward and his consortium can get it over the line. That's all I'm going to say.
John, do you think when the new, if it does change hands or the percentages change in the next 2-3 weeks, then the first order of duty or the first order of play will be to sack Phil Parkinson?
Well, I mean, to be fair, I'm on the fence still. I've stuck for him for a while, but I think if they want to get the fans on the side straight away, I mean, I would dare say it's gone the way where the majority now want Parkinson out. I'm still the case of, well, he hasn't been back, so I feel sorry for him in a sense. People say, well, oh, Sean, he's playing negative football, this, that, and the other. He's only got certain players to deal with, like Dino said earlier on. They're all very negative type of players. Parkinson's at his hands tied for me. He's probably doing the best he can with the players at his disposal. I think if this scans through, which I've been told it's not, I've been told another story. I've been told it's, I can't really see it. I've just been told something else. But if it goes through, I mean, this guy, he's wealthy, and his mum's worth about 8 billion as well. So it's, I mean, a new beginning. You would think they'll look at it and say, well, maybe a change is needed, and they might have to relieve Parkinson of his duties. But I don't think it's going to happen anyway.
Go back to the chat. Well, Sunboy Cole says, who picks the team? We all know who picks the team. Roy Robinson, too much cash cow for Donald and Charlie. That's why they want to keep the shares, because they want to make plenty of money in the future. That's what they're going to be doing. Jack Coulson says, Sean, Billy's story isn't taken over. The bloke is a great aid, and I'm not going to say what he says at the end of that. But anyway, we'll go to Jacob. Jacob, what's your thoughts on the takeover?
Well, my only theory is if they come in, I'll be very, very surprised if they don't already have a manager in place that they think is going to replace Phil Parkinson. I don't believe that they would be interested in even coming in the first place if they didn't think that. But then again, it could be like what a few fans have been saying on social media, where this new person coming in could be Stuart Donald's puppet. Basically, he's still got the 15% stake. Is it really a takeover? That's what I want to know personally. I mean, Stuart Donald's still there. He's still owning the 15%. Charlie Meffin's, was it the 5% stake?
5%.
Yeah, 5%. So it's, I mean, the club, I think, refused to comment on the matter when it was reported on Friday afternoon. So there's not much clarity in it at the moment. I mean, we could see more developments going into next week, but right now, I wouldn't get your hopes up just yet. But if what we're hearing is true, because if you look at his background, I think his father used to be the owner of Marseille. I think, yeah, so he's got some dough behind him. So whether that has been passed on to his son, who knows? But right now, it's still early days.
Surely, Jacob, if Satori wanted to be president of Uruguay, he must have more money than Stuart Donald and Charlie Methven. This young lad who's coming in must have more money than Stuart Donald and Charlie Methven. There's no way in the world. Surely, they've got to be clever. They won't let Stuart Donald pull any strings. They're going to be their own men. They're going to take over the club and do what they want to do. Surely, it must happen.
But what did Juan Satori, what did he actually do? like when he was on the scene before, particularly in that Sunderland Till I Die series. I think I only saw him at 3 games. One was the 2 finals at Wembley, and one was the opening day of the season against Charlton. I don't think the camera picked him.
Was he not just there letting them two do their own thing first?
Yeah.
If it didn't work out, then he's going to come in and take over the club himself while he was too busy at the time doing the politics.
Well, we don't really know how busy the guy actually was. It felt, how I see it is, he's getting a bigger role at the club, having more responsibility for not being around or involved as much in the first place, which is something I'm puzzled by. But if that's the case, then we can only hope that the people that Juan Sartori brings in around him to get this new ownership underway could potentially take the club in the direction where we all want it to go, and that's out of League One for starters. Let's just take one step at a time. But Juan Sartori, I don't know whether I trust him, to be honest, at the moment. I mean, it felt like he was never on the scene in the first place. Why would he want to be on the scene this time around? I don't know.
David Jones on the chat says, I was gobsmacked when SAFC came in from. I said back then that Sunderland is too big for Parky, and it's shown. David Walker says, got 2 billion. Donald will have no say whatsoever. So Conrad Lee, what's your thoughts on this potential kind of takeover?
I think, Sean, you put it best the other day out on Twitter, didn't you? It's like, what would you call it? A fakeover kind of thing where nothing's really changing. They're just sort of having a bit of a shuffle of the deck kind of thing.
Which of hands, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a little bit of me worrying that if is it Sartori? Is that how you say his name on there? If he keeps or gets a majority stake instead of this other young lad on here, how does he just not go, oh, I'm busy in Uruguay now. Stuart and Charlie, you just carry on running it. Do you know what I mean? Just like, you just carry on while I'm not here, sort of thing. And then we're still in the same place, you know. When you were saying before about do they come in and get a new manager, I think it's for me, I'd say it's probably best to, because I know we were all saying he hasn't been back. Well, he hasn't been backed, yes, unless you give him January and go, what do you want? What do you need to fix this team for the last 5 months or whatever? And if it doesn't work, then fair enough. But because I know he has, as a manager, even when you come into a new team beforehand and before you get in transfer, you still have to work with what you've got. And what he's got, he's not working with, if you get me. He's not getting the best out of players. Like, even if some of them were performing really well, but the offset was Griggs not scoring, but like the rest of them were absolutely flying, you'd be like, all right, okay, Grigg doesn't fit his system. But it's like all of them don't fit the system. All of them don't fit the style. I don't know. I'd like a change of hands. For me is better than nothing. Do you know what I mean? I know he's still there, clinging on to his money in the background, and he'll wait out until eventually we get promoted, and he'll just cash out his chips at that point. Who knows? He might even at that point decide to stay on. And if we progress, do you know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm rambling now. I've forgotten your even question was at the start. Just
well, anyway, on the live chat, Stuart Diggle says a 22-year-old cannot run a football club. There's been talk of a football director. Sartori was just a guarantor for the 50 million required to run the football club in the AFL. Donald doesn't have enough. Well, Dino, you're on the fence and you can't be bothered with Parkinson. A new owner comes in. Is it time to get rid and start afresh?
The thing is, though, if you look at it in hindsight, why would they? We're in the top half of the league. I think, are we still in the playoffs? Can anyone tell us are we still in the playoffs?
Well, at the moment, but Portsmouth play tomorrow night. So after
why would you sack a manager when you're in potential playoffs? I mean, if you sack a manager and you get someone else in, and they do worse, how good does that look? And then everyone go, why did you get this man in when Parkinson was doing okay? Yeah, we've lost 3 in a row, fair enough. But don't all teams go through bad spells? Let's be fair. I mean, I know the Mansfield, like everyone's saying that MK Dons was the worst in the history, but was it really? I mean, Mansfield are in a worse position than MK Dons. How come that wasn't the worst defeat in history? People need to make their minds up what's the worst. It's like every time we get beat.
The whole week.
But we're talking about games, not about the whole week. I mean, we're saying like it's the worst in Sunderland's history. What about when we didn't win at home for a full year? Was that not one of the worst ever things in Sunderland's history?
Premier League, wasn't it? Premier League?
No,
Championship.
Yeah,
Premier League and Championship.
We're in the Championship. Like,
With the worst position we've ever been in the club's history. 3 seasons and probably 4 seasons in League One. It's absolutely abysmal to watch the football yesterday. It was the worst game. Right, all season it's been absolute garbage to watch. Never mind trying to fight for 3 points and sneak a win here and there. The football is absolutely completely dire, Dean. We've got to change the manager.
I know that.
We've got to change the manager.
Terry, I know the football's crap, but it's been crap for how long? I mean, under Parkinson, it's never been good. I mean, even
time to change. Let's change it. New owner.
But when new owners will come in, they'll go, well, we're not going to sack him because he's doing all right in the league. Fine, we're out the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, but we're still doing all right in the league. He's still got a chance.
If they've got any ambition, they would look at 6th and go, "That's not good enough." That's ideally what they would say. Do you know what I mean? I'm just playing devil's advocate.
That's true. But I mean, that means you've got to pay the first thing you come in and pay the bloke to get rid of him, and then you bring in your own bloke. For all we know, this bloke doesn't even know who he wants. Do you know what I mean? And with the takeover with Statori, for me, when he first came in, I think that was all for his political gains. Oh, look at me, I own a football club. I mean, and stuff like that. Look, I run a football club. So if I run a football club, I can run a country. Like, that was just all for show that when he was there, he didn't do fuck all, man. Let's be fair, he done absolute fuck all. This was the bloke who was going to bring in South American talent into the youth academy. We're going to get scouts here, there and everywhere, bring them to Sunderland. We're going to have the best South Americans in League One and to sell and make loads of money. That was all bollocks. I mean, I don't know why anyone believes anything anyone says. I mean, I don't believe when people on Sky Sports say this, that and the other, but they've been saying it for months. Let's be fair. It was the same when Newcastle take over. When the Newcastle would take over, it's going to happen this week. It's going to happen this week. Something's happening. Nothing was happening. Hello, what? Terry, you broke up there. What do you say?
Did you watch the match yesterday?
Yeah, of course I watched the match yesterday, Terry, yeah.
Yeah, because believe me, when I see it, it was absolutely crap.
But it's been crap all season, though. I mean, let's be fair. We haven't played. The only game we've done well in was the Charlton game.
Been crap for 3 years, Terry. That's where we are. We're a League One
probably
team now.
Four if you count the Championship.
Pretty football.
As fans, as this massive club, massive support, fantastic city, settle for absolute shite. We shouldn't be settling for this as a club. Donald has to go, Methven has to go. If somebody comes in to take over, it's got to be better than what we have now, surely.
But the thing is, we want this and want that, but when do we ever get what we want? We wanted Madison, we didn't get him. I mean, it's not about us. They don't give a fuck about us. We're just customers. They don't give a fuck about us. It's about them and their money. Simple as that.
So you keep Parkinson when the new owners come in?
Mate, I mean, I didn't want the bloke to start with. I didn't want the bloke to begin with. But
Just say yes. Sack Parkinson.
Oh, just say
yes, but you know what? My opinion doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it's up to them fuckers upstairs, them rich cunts.
There's 217 people watching this live stream. Obviously, they enjoy the live stream. Thanks for watching the live stream. Our opinions seem to matter. So, Dean, yes, your opinion matters.
Aye, to the maybe to the fans, but not to them fuckers upstairs.
That's why you're on the show. Talk about it to the fans. Dean, I appreciate your opinion. Your opinion matters. Tell me your opinion. In or out, Parky, when new owners come in?
Would I have Of course I wouldn't, but who would you get? Let's be fair. Who would we get?
Paul Cook.
What makes you think he wants to come to us?
Why would they want to come?
Why would they want to come?
Kevin Phillips has got his badges. Someone's got to start somewhere. We always see a manager start in the lower leagues. We are in the lower league. We're in League One. We're awful. Kevin Phillips would turn this team around, surely.
Oh, that's romantic.
Terry, Kevin Phillips. No, you see that I go with Kevin Phillips. That for me is like a massive risk. I mean, Phillips.
Oh, of course, a massive risk.
He's got the experience. He can come in and just like get on the other side and just be an absolute nightmare. I mean, what we need now, if you're going to get rid of Parkinson, you need somebody who's got experience. Paul Cook, I found enough. Not Kevin Phillips for me. I think it's a massive risk. It's a massive.
Where do all the great managers start at? Where did the great Brian Clough start?
Yeah, but we're talking like 30 odd years ago.
Doesn't matter. Managers are always said, earn And you trade in the lower leagues. We're in our lower league. Why can't Kevin Phillips come in League One and do a better job than Bill Parkinson? I'm sure he would.
It's a risk, though, Terry. I mean,
doesn't matter. I would never turn on Kevin Phillips. He's a big man. Terry, you see it. It's not working. Terry, walk away.
Never you just seen that because I love Kevin Phillips as well. He's a legend, absolute legend. But what we need right now is a safe. If Parkinson wants to go, if there's new ones coming and he gets sacked, we need somebody who's got a capable pair of hands that can
Paul Cook.
Sean Paul Cook. Maybe, but Phillips.
The perfect time for Kevin Phillips to come in was before Parkinson came in. Everyone was crying out when that was the perfect time for Kevin Phillips to come in. Kevin Phillips wanted the job, but no. What did he do? He wanted to get a yes man, somebody who would just say yes, someone with a record of getting out, and someone who was cheap, and that was Parkinson.
Yeah. Terry, Kevin Phillips would only be a successful appointment now if fans were allowed in the stadium. Think of his first home game in charge. Honestly, like the Stadium of Light would be a buzzing place. Honestly, like the seats would be packed out.
Can I say as well, though, when you say no experience, if you brought in Nigel Pearson, when he was at Leicester, wasn't Kevin Phillips his number 2 or his head coach anyway? Yeah. Get him as part of a team, and then you've got the experience of being the number 2 with him, and eventually
Pearson would come though.
It's a bit of a fantasy, but still.
Can I just say, right? Parkinson's lucky we're not allowed in the fucking ground. He's
I agree with that, man.
Yeah, I swear to God, imagine the fans would have been going fucking off it, especially with the last 3 results we've had. I think.
So Dean, you're saying Parkinson's lucky we're not allowed in the ground. Does that mean you don't want them?
It's not everyone. Not everyone's parky in, parky out. I mean, let's be fair. It was with Jack Ross. There was half in, half out, and that's why there was fighting in the stands because people didn't agree with each other's opinions, so they were fighting for it, which I still don't know why.
That is the reason for me why Parkinson will be kept on for me for another couple more weeks because fans are not allowed in the stadium. If fans were allowed in, it would be that toxic towards Stuart Donald. You think. I've got no choice but
Stuart Donald's not there though, Jacob. Stuart Donald's not there.
It'd be toxic towards the players.
If fans were allowed in.
Right, I'm going to give Sean, then we'll go to Michael because it hasn't had his say on the new ownership. Right, Sean?
I was just going to say about back to the Donald thing. I mean, I know people are saying if it happens, it's a step in the right direction. But let's just reiterate what Stuart Donald's done, right, to this club. First of all, he's sort of getting the club for now. Yeah, off Ellershot like all the debt. He's paid for the club with the club's money. So there's 2 issues. He's ripped 20 million off. Yeah, he's constantly lied. The reason why I want him gone is because he's nothing but a lie and cheating fraud, and he should go. If he's got any morals, Stuart Donald, if he's got any morals at all, which we know he hasn't got any morals, he should fuck off and get out of our club and just sell all his percentage. And him and Sam and Pants, piss off, just sell the club to somebody who can take it forward. He's done enough damage. He should just leave. I see with his head high. He can't leave his head high because all he's done is lie and lie and lie. And that's why I don't want him to keep
Sean.
Sean.
Do you know
Sean, before I move on, sorry, Dean, before I move on to Michael and Dean, Sean, I've got a lot of people in my ear asking what colour pants you're wearing today.
Salmon pants.
Salmon pants.
Do you know why he won't leave? Do you know why he won't leave? Because he's a businessman. Say he's got that 15% stake or whatever, and he gets to the Prem. Imagine his stakes then. Why? He's a businessman first and foremost. He's not a chairman. He's a businessman. He wants to make money. So the best way to make money is to keep shares, get some other billionaire in, not put as much money in as Stuart Donald has to, so he doesn't have to pay wages and all that, because that'll go to the main stakeholder. And then when he can sell his shares to whoever he wants, he can make a fucking shit ton. That's why he's keeping the stake, because he knows the potential of, if we got back the Prem, how much money he would earn. It'd be even more than what he would do.
That's what it's all about. Dana. It was all about him, like, with money. It was nothing about anything else. So like you said there, if he retains 15%, we get the championship. He'll win. We get the Premier League, and he sell his shares. Then he might even more money. But the bloke doesn't deserve. Do you know what I mean? He's an absolute disgrace. Ella Short must be fucking livid with what he's done to the club. Like, must be livid.
It was Ella Short's fault.
Right, Michael. Let's go to Michael now. Let's have Michael see on the new ownership. Michael, what's your thoughts of this takeover?
I've just been sitting back for the last 20 minutes listening to people argue. Now I'm not involved for a change. Well, for the minute, that was actually quite good. That right. well, everyone knows my opinions on the current ownership. As much as I know that Short did wipe off the debt, for me, it's Ellis Short's fault primarily in the first place we're in League One, but it's Stuart Don's fault we're still in League One. For the new takeover, if it depends on how much control is passed over to Louis Dreyfus or whoever the hell is going to be doing the management side for him, if he's not doing it. I'm bored of talking about the takeover. If it happens, it happens. I just don't care at this point. What I was going to ask, I wanted to ask Sean and Dino a question, actually. First of all, Dino, someone called, let me see if I can get the name up. Jason Ashman has just sent me a message on Instagram. He says he agrees with you about how Parkinson's lucky that fans aren't in the ground because it could have been a very, very toxic atmosphere. You two were at Lincoln away last season. Is that right?
Yeah.
Hi. Yeah.
Right. That was Jack Ross's last game. Was there any toxicity towards Jack Ross in the crowd that day?
Are you fucking kidding?
There was plenty.
We were comfortably getting beat that game. So I want to know from you two, what was the atmosphere like towards Jack Ross?
People were literally standing on the corner. Like, obviously, we were on the corner flag. People were literally standing there, pointing, shouting, "I'll wait, I fucking get you." Like, people were going off it. I mean, I don't know what one was worse. Either Bolton, because people reckon he should have went after the Bolton game when we drew with them in the last minute down their place. But both of them were just as bad as Juba, to be fair.
What about Burton at home? The 2-1 at home with Parkinson last season as well. Didn't the crowd go mental with Parky in that game?
Burton, yeah.
Burton, that's it. So not Barton.
The Lincoln game. I mean, Bolton was bad, as Dino said, because you got to think people who were drinking. It was a sunny day. It was a really warm day, actually. So people drinking on the way down, drinking off time. Obviously, we drew the game, but there was fairly the atmosphere like coming out. I'm thinking this is not going to be good. But the Lincoln game, there was something about that day. I was looking around and you could see the anger in people's faces. And I went, we've got to deal with this when we get outside the ground. People actually fighting with each other in the ground as well. I've seen a couple of fights where people were tossing, throwing punches and getting stuck in it. I'm not scared of nothing at all. And nothing faces me. But I'll tell you something now. That day, Dana will say as well, it was pretty, wasn't it? It was kind of...
We were standing there and people were saying, I wouldn't stand there, lads. I wouldn't want to be standing there. And we were like, well, we've got no fucking choice, to be fair. We're not playing. We're not playing. We're not playing. We're just getting reactions off the fans. And they're going on like it was our fault.
People think as well, people want to tap it out on news and this, that, and the other. I'm thinking, well, that's not our job. We've got to tap off for this move. We win, it's good. If we get beat, we're not there to make people show themselves up or laugh at people. It's just a case of, we'd love it well, win every week and everybody be happy. But that day, Jesus Christ, I mean, there were some angry supporters. I mean, like, see, I've seen it for 2 or 3 people, like fans, like some fans fighting with each other. And that's how you can tell them it's getting really, really bad when the fans are scrapping with each other, you know what I mean? But,
And Jacob, you want to be in?
Yeah, I was saying to Michael, even on the stream for that Lincoln game, you could hear the boos and like all the negativity towards Jack Ross. And I remember because they got a penalty like earlier in the second half, you would have thought that missed penalty for them would have given us the motivation to at least get something out of the game. It got even worse. They could have had 5 or 6 that day. Fans started leaving early as well, and you could just hear the Jack Ross cries coming out of the speakers on my laptop. It was just embarrassing that day.
Can I just say something as well about Cameron Jerome, right? For someone who's played in the Premier League, I mean, how far is his career for? And what's he done in his career to make a comment about that? He's never been loyal to any club. He's been tossed around like everywhere. He's just come back from Turkey and he's playing for MK Dons in League One in a relegation scrap. Who the fuck is he? Just because he scored a goal against it, to put a tweet up like that. It was like that Charles, Darius Charles for Wickham. Because he scored, he thinks he could rip into it. Who the fuck are them players? You've always, like, Darius Charles has always been in League One or whatever league. Fine, Cameron Jerome was in the Premier League, but where are you now, mate? You're a fucking bang average League One player. You scored a fucking header. Whoop you fucking do. Get over yourself.
He showed how professional he was as well by putting the tweet out. I mean, footballers are not supposed to put tweets out.
Oh, don't worry about the fact it's deleted.
And then he bottled it. He bottled it, Sean. Afterwards, he showed his bottle straight afterwards. Best turn that off, actually.
1:00 in the morning.
Yeah. It was screenshotted in time, but like, you see, that shows you how professional he is. And I hope that the club kicks off, because shouldn't be coming up with statements like that. You're supposed to show, as a professional footballer, you're supposed to show how professional you are off the pitch as well. And he just showed everybody what he was for that tweet. Do you know what I mean? Simple as that, really.
Bell end.
It's been a great show tonight. It's been a very controversial show, I think, and we've had some great comments on the online chat, and I appreciate it's all coming on. 220 on now the chat. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video.
5K.
We're going to now because we could go on for hours and hours and talk about that utter garbage we watched yesterday. And at the moment, it looks like everybody on the panel is Parky out. Am I right?
I say I don't care. I say I don't
Yeah,
care.
Sat on the fence.
Well,
I'm,
I don't think
I'm
I'm
facing that way.
To be fair, I think
One
me,
more game.
I want to say thank you.
very hard, but
Who's on the chat tonight? Conrad, Sean, Jacob, Michael, and Dino. Been interesting. Thank you to the people who've been watching this live stream. Take care. Much appreciated. And we'll catch you on
5K.
Thursday night.
5K, hopefully.
Another Thursday. See you later.